Welcome back to another episode of Excuse My Grandma. It's Kim and my co-host,
Grandma Gail.
Grandma, any life updates?
Well, Kim, it's October, so summer is definitely over. We're into our fall mode, which I'm loving. The weather's been really nice except for this weekend, so I've done a lot of walking around the city, going into the museums a little bit, a lot of nice new shows at the Met. And I enjoyed that, and some really nice lunches and dinners back in our wonderful fair city of New York. So it's been really very nice.
Yeah, city like fall always has really good vibes, and I feel like especially with dating, you know, people are like ready to get back into it, meet new people.
And I also like all the outside streets that have become almost like pedestrian malls where they've set up, especially in your neighborhood in Nomad. They have all these tables. And
you love Nomad.
I love Nomad.
I think Nomad is, first, I always tell people like, oh, I live in Chelsea or I live in Flatiron, but I guess it is really Nomad.
And they have all the tables and little chairs outside the little restaurants. And I like that. So you can sit, and they have, actually the other day when I left your area at about 5 o'clock after filming something, they had all kinds of musicians out there. So it was so much fun. I was listening to them for a while. It's like having a little city within a couple of blocks, and it's really fun. It's all young, and you know, it's the park is pretty. The leaves haven't fallen off the trees yet, so it still looks really nice.
You like love starting an episode talking about weather and seasons.
Yes,
I've never seen someone who likes to talk about weather so much.
Well, because I think it sets your mood. I think when it's fall, you sort of feel like things are not ending. They're just having, it's like the end of summer. It's the beginning of a new season.
For those who don't know, it's like Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, which is kind of like the Jewish New Year, where you're supposed to like
think about your thoughts.
Think about but like your sins that you've done for the last year.
and how you're going to change perhaps a few things that you're doing for the new year.
How do you
and
think
also contemplate on family members or friends who've passed on. So it's a joyous time, but yet a sad time.
Like fall.
That's
starting a new season.
Exactly.
But how do you think in this new Jewish year I should start thinking about relationships any differently, or?
Well, you and I can't talk about this relationships too much because we sort of don't agree. I think now you're into a new season, and you should think about relationships just the way you do. I mean, I honestly wouldn't waste any time on relationships that aren't working and move forward onto new relationships. That's just the way I think it is. But you know what? Everybody looks at themselves and views their own life a little differently, and that's what makes it fun.
And I think like our lives are always kind of a combination of our past and our present, like people. I mean,
yes. Well, you don't want to ever get rid of old friends.
Right.
And what would be nice, I mean, I would be to keep relationships that you've had for years and still see people that you might not be romantically involved with, but that are friends and that you perhaps might even have dated, and continue some kind of conversation.
I see what you're saying, like if you, like with ex-boyfriends or whatever, like if you were in a full-fledged relationship and it didn't work, like probably don't recycle that.
Oh, no, you don't want to recycle them. But if you just left as friends, it's fun to resume it. I mean, there's no big deal about, you know, I don't have to end anything, and it doesn't have to be at a permanent ending. It's not like somebody left the face of this earth. But I'll tell you, the thing that I'm most excited about is that we're going to be on QVC Live. I don't know if that's something that you want to talk about yet, Kim, but we have to tell our viewers.
You're excited, so let's talk about it.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very excited because it's an opportunity to be on actual television.
Right. And
We've
let's
never
just
done
explain
that
to
before.
people exactly, like, we have this podcast, we have our videos on TikTok and Instagram where we work with a lot of great brands for like sponsored posts, but we definitely want to bring Excuse My Grandma to like a new level in media and start doing like other opportunities and entertainment. So to go on QVC and kind of go on one of their live shopping shows where we're going to talk about fashion and kind of be like personalities on this show.
Yeah, we're not selling anything. We're just going to be ourselves, which is sort of fun. And
it's in Philadelphia, their studio, so we're doing like a road trip.
Yeah. Road trip.
Oh, we should definitely vlog our trip there.
Oh, we have to take pictures because first of all, my whole problem is we're supposed to be on in the evening, so we have to make up before we leave, and it's a 2.5-hour trip. This is a very serious issue. Makeup doesn't last a whole day.
Right.
We're gonna have to remake up, and this is an awful lot of maintenance that we're gonna have to do that day. So Thursday, everybody, you gotta tune in.
Yeah.
It's QVC2. And wherever you get that on your television, we're on from 6 to 9. So catch us
6
at
to
some
9
point.
p.m. And we'll
Right.
remind you guys on social media too.
Right.
We'll be talking about it more on there probably than this, because the day this episode comes out is the day that we are going to be there.
Correct.
So if you're listening to this in the morning, it's a good reminder to tune in later
You
that
can spend
day.
a whole day with Excuse My Grandma. It'll be fun. And we're going to have conversations on what our outfits are going to be, because it has to be different. Kimmy has to look one way. I have to look my classic way. So we're going to have a whole conversation about that soon.
I mean, I feel like, did you ever have ideas of like being on TV yourself, or this is just
we were on Rachel Ray,
right? But I mean,
but this is a real
yeah.
this is a longer period. I mean, we've been on it and we enjoyed it.
we've done interviews,
and we've we've had fun. But this is a little more time that we're spending on television. I hope my hair lasts. I think I need somebody to come with me.
You'll have to make it extra fluffy.
I'll have to make something. I wish I had my beautician hanging out with me, because there are people
Yeah,
following
Glam
them.
Squad.
We're not up there yet. We haven't done that yet.
No. I don't know if that's very like Real Housewives to have that. Speaking of spending so much time with grandmas, there was an article in the Times called about grandmates.
Oh, what is that?
So many people sent me this on Instagram because obviously like it applies to us. More young adults are moving in with their grandparents in a trend known as skipped generation households.
We did that, Kim.
Yeah, I know. This relationship between grandchildren and grandparents is strong because they can approach each other as individuals. Grandparents aren't seen as authority figures, and grandchildren aren't viewed by grandma and grandpa as tots needing guidance and a lecture. They each have their own discrete needs. Both sides of the age come to the table armed with their own skill sets too. The grandchildren can demystify smartphones, Twitter, and paying bills online. And those in their early 20s can learn from older adults' life experiences.
All right, so that's pretty much what we do.
I know. And it's crazy because I guess like that's maybe why people find us relatable, because it seems that we're not the only ones doing this.
No, because, especially post-COVID or during COVID, so many people moved in together because of various reasons, whether it was to get out of their community or whether it was to help their grandparents. For whatever reason, it seems to be that they've reconnected. And I think it's a terrific thing, because certainly generations can learn from each other.
Yeah. And like I've been posting like your rules on TikTok, which are kind of like supposed to be funny. And I feel like you have better advice than that. But like one that kind of went viral this week was like, don't be afraid to eat or go to a movie by yourself, which like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of my friends were like all codependent on each other, and you're like, yeah, no, just go out and do your own thing.
For years and years and years, I used to, since my husband and I never liked the same kind of movies, I used to go to a movie myself in the afternoon, basically. And I would go to theater at night myself very often, because he didn't like the show and he'd rather watch a football game or whatever he was watching. And I think that's very important, to have your independence and think, enjoy your own company. I think that's the lesson that people have to learn. They can't be dependent on their friends constantly to entertain them. They have to find some kind of entertainment within their own, heart.
Why can't they just like listen to a podcast or put their headphones in? And
That's very good now. They can do that. But if they want to get out, there's nothing wrong with going to a coffee shop and having a hamburger or a bowl of pasta by yourself and reading a newspaper or taking a book along with you.
Yeah, or you can like journal, or you can watch TikToks, I guess.
Well, that's what you guys like to do. I don't think too many 60-year-olds are sitting home watching TikToks.
You'd be surprised. I think a lot of them watch us.
Oh, well, they watch us, but that's a good thing, guys. Keep watching us.
There's this TikTok trend going around where people like sing a song and tell a story about themselves, and it's like, one thing about me is da 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 da, and they like do it to this tune and they like sing a song. Would you ever want to do that?
No, because my voice isn't so good.
They're not like good singers. They're just like telling a story to that.
I think we've told enough stories about each other, then we don't have to do it to music. I think more important, we need to hear from our audience some of the questions that I know they have.
Yeah.
And
We're going to do some questions at the end of the episode.
Oh, okay.
But maybe we can talk about our dating topic of the week.
Which is what, Kim?
Drunk texting.
Oh, that's bad. That's very bad.
It's fall in the city. Lots of this is happening more and more because we're all like going out and like, I don't know. Clearly, when you were young, there was no texting, so you definitely weren't drunk texting.
Well, there could be drunk phone calls.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, when somebody got home late at night and was sort of a little out of it.
They would call?
Sometimes they did.
And say what?
Just sort of silly things, but it was very rare because most of us didn't drink that much, or if we did, we were so inebriated at the end of the night that we really couldn't
Just
get
wanted
out.
to go to sleep.
We just went to bed or did whatever we had.
But what's interesting, like when you have a phone call, you can tell exactly how inebriated someone else is. On a text message, you really can't. So it depends. Like sometimes a text message will come in and it's like slurred words. Like I've seen this on my friend's phone. Guys will be like, want to meet up, but it's like everything is spelled wrong and it's like
either that or they're very stupid.
No. It's like pretty clear. But sometimes you don't, if they're just like, hey, where are you? Or like, should we meet out or whatever? Like you don't.
You know what my feeling is, and I've discussed this with you. I think after you're out of college, stop it. I mean, this is
Stop what?
You're too old for drunk texting and all that.
Right, immature.
It's too immature. It's
But let's say you are out with your friends and you want to meet up with like a group of people, like, or you wouldn't do that with somebody that you're interested in dating seriously. You're saying save that for like date night. Don't try to like meet out.
Yeah, I think that once the evening is over, it should be over. And if you want,
but it's not over. Like, let's say you're still out with your friends,
still outside
and you want
they're texting.
You're at a bar and you're like, you want to meet a group of girls at another bar.
Well, then that's all right if you enjoy doing that. I mean, I don't see the purpose of going from bar to bar, except to drink and then find out that you've had a completely awful evening and have a headache the next day. I just don't get it. One bar is enough. Sit down, have a couple of drinks if that's what you like.
I guess like
have a conversation. If you haven't met up with somebody that you like, or if your friends are sort of chilled out and want to go home, then call it a night.
I guess like if you're out and you have a crush on someone and you want to meet up with them, like you text them.
That's high school.
Like, yeah. But I mean, I see
really
what you're
high
saying,
school.
but I'm telling you that like it happens.
I'm sure that happens.
Even when you're older.
I'm sure it happens, but I think nothing good will come of that.
Right. And do you think that like, let's say you're drunk texting with someone and it's not to try to meet up. It's just like you're talking. Like,
well,
do you think like is drunk words sober thoughts, or would you not trust anything said over text messages if you know the person's intoxicated?
I would absolutely not trust anything because somebody really isn't thinking clearly,
right?
Or when they're doing that kind of things. Or sometimes they say things that they wouldn't normally say. But the thing is, they'll never remember it the next day.
Well, they do because it's over text. So you
so
go back
and
you're like, fuck, why
saying.
did I say that?
Well, yeah, but then they'll say they didn't mean it.
Right.
I think a lot of this is sort of just making up excuses to see somebody and at another time. And
but what if you want, like, a lot of guys will like text to try to like meet and hook up?
Well, if you want casual sex, that's up to the individuals. I personally think that's a bad thing.
So like, I was thinking about like some potential text messages that you could receive while you're out, and like maybe we can help people think of like how to respond to them, if at all. Like, or you would always say don't respond.
Well, I wouldn't always say it, but I mean, if somebody texts you and say, I'm really would love to see you, I'll call you tomorrow.
Right.
I would text back, thanks, looking forward to it.
Yeah.
There are good text messages, but just someone who's just endlessly texting, oh, let's meet at this bar or that bar. I don't.
If it's like slurred words and it's like, I'm at a bar right now, should I come over? Do you want to meet up?
No.
Would you be like, not respond, or should you be like, clearly you've had something to drink, like let's chat in the morning?
I think that would be a very nice way of
not be like, you're wasted, don't talk to me.
Yeah, because first of all, they don't really understand that. I think if they're in a bar and they're slurring their words, the best thing to say is, you know what, I suggest we talk tomorrow.
Right. Or you could send a question mark, maybe.
Why? Why further it? Why
Right.
further the conversation? It doesn't make any sense to me to continue that conversation. Better off delaying it for when they're sober thoughts
And what if,
the next morning.
and what if it's not like a slurred text? What if they've only had like one drink and they just want to meet up and they're like, "Hey, I'm at a bar with some friends. Would love to see you if you want to swing by with your friends."
Well, that's perfectly legitimate.
Mhm.
If you're, if it's not 4 o'clock in the morning
Right.
and you've
It's
already
nice that
been out
someone's
all
thinking
night,
about
but
you.
it's nice and say, you know what, I'm with a couple of girls right now. But send me the address. We'll come over.
Mhm.
That's fine because that's the way people, I guess, congregate today. It's the tone of the text
Like
that
you up.
you would have to be careful with.
If someone sends you up. We've
You
talked
up.
about that.
That's like if they're sending the text at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Now I would just either respond up but going to sleep.
Yeah. I can't say like I've gotten any drunk text messages in the last like 4 or 5 years.
That's good.
But
Well, I
like
think you've grown up.
I don't know
And
though.
most of the people you're dating now are grown-ups. I think this is something that maybe I could see a 19 or 20-year-old do.
I don't know. I think a lot of my friends do, and I definitely have sent a few myself, but not like on a consistent basis.
All right, maybe you're getting mature.
Maybe. If you know that you are somebody who sends drunk text messages and you look at the next morning and you're like, I hate myself, are there ways that you can like prevent that besides like
Yeah, don't drink so much.
true? But let's say it's like even if you have there, I feel like I see videos all the time of people. They're like 1 drink and I'm already texting my ex. It's
Well,
like
that's a problem.
maybe-
that is a problem. Or you're going to say something you're going to regret the next day. So either put away the phone,
yeah.
put the phone in your pocket or in your
But
purse.
sometimes that's not enough. Like,
Well-
do you have to delete their number, or maybe you can have a friend to keep you accountable and be like, "Don't let me text Tom."
Nobody's supposed to be responsible for
Yeah,
you
I
or for the
guess.
person's actions.
Right.
That's really you. And if you're not adult enough, either from the male sending the text to the woman or the woman sending the text to the man, you know what? Then you're in trouble. You've got to really understand that you're getting older, and it's an immature thing to reach out to somebody when you're drunk.
All right, that's our thoughts, or Grandma Gail's thoughts
I
on
think
drunk
that's
texting.
enough for that conversation.
You want to do some listener questions?
Sure.
Can you share some of your healthy habits? Because you look great. Everyone's
Well,
saying you look great.
That's so nice of everybody.
Mhm.
I think I just, I don't drink. Maybe once in a while have a glass of wine. I try to go to bed at a reasonable time every night, similar time, so I have a sleep pattern. And I do a lot of walking. And that's really it. I don't do anything different. I don't take any I don't take any vitamins. I don't take anything that isn't just normal. And I really don't eat that healthy. So Kimmy always
Yeah.
gets mad at me. I'm a big Hostess Twinkie person.
Yeah, you literally have like big versions of the like Babe Ruth candy bars
I
in
like
your
that.
pocketbook.
I do. I love
Like,
it. I love it. So I would say more of the clean living is more of what I do. And but I thank everybody for cheering me on.
Someone said how to not worry about weight and body image. I do worry about it. So
And I don't.
um
I don't think anybody should worry about it. I think they should be happy with their own body and don't even think about it. We are all ourselves. Everybody is beautiful for who they are. And you know what? We don't have to pig out for dinner. But then on the other hand, we should be eating healthy, and we should be eating what is, what is in front of us in portions. But don't obsess over it. It really isn't good for you emotionally, I think, to worry too much about your body. Your body is your body. And if you're not happy with certain aspects of it, go to a gym. Take a walk in the park quickly. Do some exercise with friends. But don't.
but even if you were probably like 5 pounds skinnier, you would probably thinking of just based off of like my own experience of how we're conditioned, oh, like I still want to lose a pound or two. Like no one's like actually like you won't feel better probably if you do lose those 5 pounds. Like you have to just feel good at whatever you are and like come
Correct.
to that mindset.
I don't think that 5 pounds is going to matter one bit emotionally.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you have to just make up your mind. You're happy within yourself and you look good. Get up in the morning, comb your hair, have your breakfast, go out for a walk, go to your job, and be happy that you're alive. It's very important to have a good attitude.
Who should bring up moving in together in a couple? She is 29 years old and he's 32, and they've been together for 9 months.
Who should bring it up? I think it should be a mutual conversation. Probably since you're together 9 months, I think if it's bothering the woman, then she should bring it up. If it's bothering the man, he should bring it up. But after 9 months, somebody should bring it up. Or just don't move in, get married, and then you'll move in together. You already know each other well enough. I certainly wouldn't do a long process of living together at this point. You certainly know each other well enough.
How old do you feel?
How old do I feel? Are they asking me and specifically or you, Kim?
Probably you, but we can both answer it.
I don't know. I feel like I'm an adult. I don't age is something that I really never think about. Thank heavens, I haven't had to worry about it. After I started collecting Social Security, I didn't worry anymore. So you know what? You are what you are. Each stage of your life, you know what age you are, and you have to be happy with it. And the alternative is not good. So you want to keep living, keep enjoying yourself, keep making new friends, and expand your horizons. What do you think, Kim? Do you ever think about how old you are? Anything
I feel like I just feel the same age as I am, but like every year I feel that age because I don't know what that is supposed to feel like otherwise. Like
right.
You just
you're in your 20s and you're experiencing life, and that's great.
How many boyfriends did you have before settling down? That's definitely for you.
That's definitely for me. I must have had maybe 20 or more. But boyfriends, yes, no, actually going out with guys for a period of time. Yeah, I had certain loves that probably I had 2 or 3 that I was really crazy about, none of which I married, by the way. But there, in the time when I was dating, people dated a lot. They didn't just stay with one person. Once you stayed with one person for a very long time in your 20s, you really knew you were going to get married because you really didn't live with somebody. So it's very different than today.
Mm-hmm. So we posted these photos the other day in your Hamptons house.
Oh,
and that
my other granddaughter took,
yes.
who's a photographer, yes.
And people loved your Majolica collection.
Oh, the Majolica, yeah.
I didn't even know what that meant. I had to Google it, and so many people were like, "Oh, we love it! Like, what do you like to collect? Tell us about the collection."
Well, it's a fun thing. It's basically Italian pottery and English and a lot of English pottery from I would say the mid. About 1870s, 1880s. And when I first moved out to the Hamptons, which is 26 years ago, there used to be fields and fields on the weekend that had antique shows. And that was a very collectible item. It's out of vogue now, and they no longer have those antique shows. I think everybody bought up all the stuff, or now people tend to like modern contemporary looks. But it was a very popular, it's always been a popular form of collecting the pictures, especially because people would put beautiful flowers in them, and they look so pretty in a country house. So I do collect them. I love them, and they add color to an otherwise, very pale background.
Yeah, they're really cool. I feel like it's not something that I would pick as my aesthetic, but I feel like it's coming back kind of.
Well, I also have a very old house, so
right.
I have an old cottage from the 1670s.
Yeah.
So it works in the cottage. It doesn't go in a stark modern house. That's for sure.
How old were you for your first kiss?
Oh, I don't know when I played Spin the Bottle. Probably 12.
Spin the bottle at 12?
Yeah, I think we used to have boy-girl parties in our basements in when I was growing up, and they used to spin the bottle. Yeah, 12 years old, 12, 13. Yeah.
Everyone's always like, oh, growing up in the city, it must have been so fast for you, whatever. We certainly were not playing spin the bottle at 12 in someone's basement.
Yeah, so because I think the city was actually slower than the country.
I say that all the time, and people are like, I don't get it. It's like, well, we have a 2-bedroom apartment, and your parents see everything you're doing. It's not like you're in a house and you can go into the basement.
Yeah. Well, that was, I would say that living in the country, you had to spend a lot of time together because there was really no place to go.
Yeah. I mean, you always get a lot of questions about, did you work outside of the home and what you would have done if not?
Oh, well, let's make this the final question on here. I've discussed this many times. I never worked outside of the home until I was 79 and started working for you, Kim. So, other than that, I worked within the home. I raised my family, and I loved it. If perhaps today I was pursuing a career, I think I would like to have gone to law school. But that's something that, was, I certainly could have done it, but I didn't. And
But you
I
like
don't regret
working
it.
now. Like, I feel like you never thought that you would have liked working.
Well, I think I like working now because I have no children at home crying.
Right.
I think when you're raising a family and you have the issues of teenagers, it's very hard for women, especially women, and now increasingly men, depending on who's the major breadwinner. A lot of men stay home now and raise the children. Somebody has to stay home and make sure the kids are doing their homework, are going to activities. So it's hopefully people share it now, or they have some a person who is paid to come in occasionally and do these things, take them to different classes or different afternoon activities. But it's very hard, and anybody who thinks that being a mother and a home maker and a wife is easy hasn't tried it.
Okay. Let's leave it there for now.
Don't forget, everybody has to listen to our QVC tonight.
Yes, go and tune into that. Follow us if you don't already.
And by the way, it's QVC2, and it's not so easy because you have to flip channels because there are a lot of QVCs. We're on QVC2 this Thursday night.
Thank you guys again for listening to Excuse My Grandma. We're Excuse My Grandma on TikTok and Instagram. Share with your friends, and we will see you next week.
Bye.